Just let's see. There is this thing going on now in Edo. You know, you know, they get time, but with the social media, there is this, I think, little disagreement between our monarch and the crown prince Ezeleka. That even Ezeleka had to write a public apology letter, posted it on his Instagram to apologize to the father. And why apologizing to the father? He said the OBA should handle this current issue with sagacity. People are now saying, OBASEKI Owa says on the Moira that you caused issue between father and son, that you are the reason why the OBA is having issues with the son, that you try to divide them with this Moa thing, like trying to work with the son to fight the father. You know, why that conversation? Is there anything you try to do to cause division between the father and our between our crown prince and the monarch?
How will that benefit me? Why would I do that? So I'd also cause division between the monarch and his uncle, Professor Gregory Kenzwa, who was the chairman, who was the one that led the Palace Initiative. I don't want to get involved in family matters.
Okay. Yes, let's see. That is very, very clear.
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
The narrative out there that the plan for MOA was originally Benin Royal Museum. That you changed it from Benin Royal Museum to Edo Museum of West Africa at MOA. Later, you removed the E. Now, what we have is Museum of West Africa Act. Can you clear this part? Because this is where our people are really getting sentimental. Like, you said you were going to build museum for Oba.
On my second coronation anniversary, he was called to make some remarks and surprise everyone when he informed us that he had been meeting with the Benin Dialogue Group, some museums, and international donors who were already cooperating with him for the setting up of the Benin Royal Museum, and that he has invited them to Benin for the next meeting. He then said he couldn't see any better coronation anniversary gift he could give to me than that.
You say you want to build a dome museum, you don't build, now you can't turn out a private museum, that you took what is supposed to be Oba to build, for Oba to build a private museum.
Well, first and foremost, I think it is wrong. Very, very wrong. And the role of Edo State, the government under my watch, was clear. There are certain things we said we would do, and there's a certain way we did the things we said we would do. Building museum is not a priority for the state government. I cannot take money to build schools, to educate children to go and build museum. What I will do is to use that money, create an environment, and those people who know how to build museums, who can raise money to build museums, I will collaborate with them to build museums in my place, right? Yes. MOA, for instance. MOA has raised over how much? 30 million euros. Does Edo still have that kind of money to put in museum? So why would I say I want to go and build a museum? If I have that kind of money, I won't use it to build museums. I'll use it to build schools. I'll use it to build technical colleges. But if someone says, look, I can raise this amount of money, but we want you to show that you are going to support, that you will support this initiative. Give us land. Give us a supportive environment. Put some small counterpart money to show an interest, so that tomorrow if we come, it's not only our money that will, as if they knew this kind of thing will happen. We do that. The National Museum, even federal government this state government, did they not take money to go and support UBTH? It's not a federal institution. Did they own it? Did they change the name?
No.
I mean, so when people talk like that, it's just nonsense. It's absolute ignorance. At no point in time did we say that. We carried the palace along. And then we say, look, we'll have more say if we have something which represents the federal government, state government, and the palace. They see us as united to, as we're dealing with these Oyibo people. They will see us as one. And they won't have any excuse. And these people, they try to play divide and rule. Many of them don't want to return these items. So they will be looking for cracks. And I knew this. That's why I said, look, let's all come together. Let's set up a trust. Let the National Museum be there, Edo State government, and the palace. That's what we started with. Said, palace, please give us a nominee, give us a trustee. Government will put a trustee. National Museum put a trustee. You foreign museums, bring your trustees. That's what we had. I suggested the Crown Prince, gave him a letter. He took it to his father. His father gave him his blessings, and he became a trustee of the trust.
Suddenly, I saw that they co-opted my eldest son into their conspiracy because they felt they would see him as the Crown Prince of Benin. If they see him as the Crown Prince of Benin, that would prove that they are collaborating with the palace. And if they dragged him along with them, they would have succeeded in convincing international donors, particularly Germany, that they are collaborating with the palace. My dear son said that they constituted the Legacy Restoration Trust, and they have given him a board seat. I didn't send him there. He looked excited, of course. Poor child. He didn't understand the implications of what he was getting himself into, because he didn't remember or didn't care to remember that I've been teaching him about people.
Just please, 1 second, sir. 1 second, sir, because listening to our monarch, the Oba of Benin, he actually lambasted the song, like that.
I don't want to get. I don't want to get into that. I want to tell you what I know.
No, I'm going somewhere. And this part is very, very. You need to clear this part. He said,
yes.
You brought a letter. That the song was excited. That you brought a letter.
Edo Museum. Then they changed its name to MOA. They quietly brought me a document to sign away, mortgage my rights, approval for what they want to set up, Legacy Restoration Trust. I cannot sign such a document. Then he got angry.
And you actually wanted him to sign the letter so you can have the artifact.
No, it is not true. That is not a correct narrative. Whoever said that is not true, and I'm not sure the monarch would have said that. Because what happened is, you see, we had to set up a non-charitable trust. When you are dealing with foreigners, they're going to be putting money. They want to see transparency. They want to see, understand, this is donations, but they just want to make sure that they can see through the money they brought in. And say, fine, we will also show them that we are straightforward and open people. So we'll join you and set up this trust. And so, okay, when you set up a trust, you have trustees.
Yes.
Right? It's okay. Federal government, please nominate a trustee. State government, nominate a trustee. Palace, nominate a trustee. You foreign donors, nominate trustees. That was at that point. She wrote. I said, okay. Being a young, very intelligent man who can quite represent, let the Crown Prince represent. Have you be the trustee from the palace? And give him a letter. You appoint him as trustee. I gave him a letter suggesting him as trustee. And if there was no objection. There was absolutely no objection to become a trustee. That's all. And this was just a trust for setting up this institution.
Hmm.
And so at the point, when at a certain point, there all this misinformation, I will just call it misinformation, became so high. And when the young man, we all went to Germany to the Humboldt Museum. That was where this whole thing had hit its peak. And I don't know what happened internally, and the monarch was not happy. But we've tried to appeal to say, look, this is what it is. And they then said, no, they didn't want to be part of that trust. I said, okay, if you don't want to be part of that trust, what do you want? He wants to have his own royal museum. I said, no problem. We will support. The more the merrier. And I understand that he then acquired land opposite the palace.
Yes, remember.
And we then said, we will contribute. A committee was set up. And it's very intriguing because I've not heard from any member of that committee. Their meetings, what they decided, how they decided, what the cost of the museum was going to be, the plans, the drawings, because before we even gave the approval of land or support to MOA, we demanded for all of these documents. MOA is not my own. Just like many of the other things we invested in are not ours. But as long as it was going to be bringing good to Edo State and supporting and growing the economy of Edo State, it was incumbent that the government should support them.
As your son, imperatively, one thing you can always count on is that I will tell you what others wouldn't tell you and speak my opinion on issues that others might be too worried to touch on. So the earlier we start telling our current king the truth, Ave Chief Osaroida, Ave Chief Igbe, all those chiefs, you better start telling him the truth.